Okay, welcome back. We're going to have another look at Booleans. This time we're going to make some cool looking dice. So let's see what that looks like. Let's start with a cube. I'm going to go ahead and hit F to frame that or focus in on it. Um, Before I get any further, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this transform uh, component here. And I'm going to go ahead and rename this guy. Open up my modeling toolkit. So he's sitting, he's a 1 by 1. Let's go back to the channel box layer editor here. So here's our inputs. He's 1 by 1 by 1. I'm sitting right at the center of our origin, so we'll keep that in mind. I'll come over here to edge mode, and I'm going to drag and select all the edges. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bevel on them. So let's put that bevel at, say, 0.2. Let's make it 0.1 with 3 segments. Click select to turn that off. Go to object mode and do a quick render of this. So I'm going to go to my render current frame. And it looks good, except we got some weird stuff on the corner there where it's trying to figure out which edge is hard and which is soft. So we'll go back to edge mode. Again, select everything, and then mesh display, soften edge. And everything should be round and pretty now. So let's render that again. Yeah, all that goofiness is gone. Cool. Now the next thing we need to do, let me just go over here and go to absolute transform. I'm going to use that later in our transform box. I'm going to make a sphere. And that's way too big. So I can either go to my channel box or my attribute editor to change that up. Let's make his radius, let's try 0.1. And then we'll move him up on the Y by 0.5. That should get him exactly in the center there. I'll tweak that radius just a bit. Let's make it 0.09. As you can see, our sphere is exactly halfway into the face of the cube. And I'm going to scale him down. To 0.7. That looks good. Alright, so that's great for the side of the die that has a 1 on it. I'm going to go ahead and create a bunch of these, and then we'll take them away as needed. So with my sphere selected, I'm going to Command D and duplicate. And move them up by 0.25 or over. Duplicate again. Go that way again by 0.25. I'm going to select all 3, hold down Shift, and duplicate them again. And we'll use this transform box. So our absolute, we want 0.25 on the X, and they move back into place. Alright, so as you can see, we have those sticking up. That's a start. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of those. And I'm going to combine them. So I'm going to come here to mesh and combine. And now that's all one object. I'm going to duplicate again. We want this on the y-axis up here to be at a negative 0.5. Spin down. Why didn't that go where we wanted it to? Ah, that's what happened. Let me undo that. Okay, so let's duplicate it, and then what we'll do is we will modify and click on center pivot. And so what happened was our pivot was all the way down there, and when we drug the pivot down to 0.5, the new cubes were still inside the block. So now, with that done, negative 0.5 should be exactly where we want it to be. All right, I'm going to combine these. Once again, now I've got one object. I'm going to duplicate it. Rotate it over by negative 90. Duplicate it again by Command D. Whoop. There we go, now duplicated, and then rotate that one around by 90. So I could do it here, or since this is absolute, I could have done it up here, say 45, 90. All right, now I've got all of my objects, or at least the template thereof. So I'm going to grab all three, and I'm going to start separating them. So now they should all be individual spheres again. I'm going to have the top one be R1, so let me select these and delete them. Now the cool thing with dice is on the opposing sides of dice, each number pair adds up to 7. So if I've got 1 on this side, then on the bottom side should be 6. So I want 6 there. Going over, this one should be 2. I'll delete these and leave 2, which means on the opposite side of that we should have 5. Finally leaving 3 and 4. So delete those, and then over here we'll have just 4 left. Alright, so now we've got 1 and 6, 2 and 5, 3 and 4. Perfect. Alright, before we go any further, I'm going to grab everything here. I'm going to hold down Control and take out the cube. Just get rid of that for now. Now I'm going to combine them again into one object. All of these little pips. So I'm going to combine those. Let's call them pips. What just happened? Didn't want to rename that way. We'll just do it this way. Alright, before we go any further, I'm going to come over here, and this little object shows my panel layout for our perspective view and the hypershade. Let's try that one out. And I'm going to make some new blends. We want something nice and shiny. So I've got a new blend. We'll call this black. And then we'll color it black. Make another one. M white. And then we should crash. All right, let's file this as a Maya bug. I have noticed this before. So when you're naming a material in the Hypershade editor, hit that enter button when you're done naming, because if you try and click out, it does seem to confuse it. So we'll wait for this to crash, and we should have at least an autosave to open up here in a minute, and then we can continue. Yep, not responding. We'll just force quit. Go away. We'll try this again. All right, this should have been my assignment 5 folder, and under autosave, untitled, let's give that a shot. We don't want to save whatever this is because we didn't do anything. Okay, well, we have some of our stuff. So here we go again. Command D. Which did nothing because I didn't have the rotate tool on. Now we'll try 90 degrees. Rotated. Ah, that moved out to negative 90. Or to 90 to somewhere. Yeah, look at that. All right, we'll move it back. And I got the rotation tool on. Move. Move to 0, 0, and 0. All right, it's in place. So another note up here that wants the enter button hit there too. Enter, return, whichever keyboard you've got. All right. Grab all these again. Separate them out. And we'll start deleting. And we're back. All right. Again, I'm going to select everything, unselect the cube, and combine these. Real quick, I'm going to save as. Let's just do this right so we don't have to rely on autosave. Go to my workspace root. We're in assignment 5. Scenes. Dice. All right. Let's try the hypershade again. We're going to make 3 different blends. Be sure to hit enter. Make that a little deeper. There we go. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, I'm going to select everything I've got here, which should be just two objects. I'm going to duplicate them. All right, so starting with our first die, we're going to go ahead and make that white. And we're going to make that first set of pips black. This one we'll do in red with white pips. And finally we'll do one in black. We'll make this one crazy looking with red. There we go. All right, so we're all set up for our Booleans, which is what we're here for. So I'm going to grab the first one here, grab the cube, and then grab the associated pips as the secondary object. I'm going to come up here to Mesh and Booleans, and we're going to be doing a difference. But I'm going to click on this options dialog box so we can look at all the different options we've got. So we've got normal, we've got edge, we've got legacy Boolean. We've got a number of different things we can do. We'll start with the legacy Boolean, and we'll just go ahead and tell it preserve color. Let me apply and close. And as we can see, that one did almost a good job, but then left holes right there where we can see the grid line through. Let me frame that and render it. Yeah, you can see holes. So not the Boolean we were looking for. We can come back to that. Actually, I'm just going to undo that. Command Z a whole bunch. There we go. Try that again. We use the edge mode this time. Apply and close. As you can see, that came out much better. And they're really dipped in there. Let's do a render. Great. Let's try the next one. Let's try normal. Click that off. Looks like overall we got about the same result. But if we look at these side by side, no, the same kind of cuts. So not much difference there. Wouldn't do this last one. I don't think there's any more settings to play with but we'll try it. Okay, so we tried both edge and normal. We'll go back to this legacy one and not preserve color just to see what happens. Alright, so this one gave us our holes again. Alright, well, we did make some cool looking dice. Didn't see a whole lot of difference in the ways that the different Boolean operations worked, except for the legacy one, as we said, just left holes. Didn't leave us with a solid object. But when you're using the Booleans, definitely make sure you go up here and play with the different settings if you don't get the desired result the first time. Just to be consistent, we're going to go ahead and save this scene, and then we'll double check to make sure it's still where we expect it to be. Alright, we've got our dice.